In a small, remote African village surrounded by lush greenery and whispering winds, there lived a beautiful yet lonely girl named Nyasha. Her name meant grace, and she carried herself with an air of quiet resilience that made her stand out. Orphaned at the tender age of 5, Nyasha was raised by the village elder, Mama Zola, who cared for her like her own, but could never fill the void of parental love. Nyasha grew up to be a radiant young woman, her dark, glistening skin glowing like the moonlight, and her curly, raven-black hair cascading like waves. Yet, her beauty was not just skin-deep. She had a heart that radiated kindness. Despite her hardships, Nyasha would often be seen helping the elderly, comforting crying children, and sharing her scarce meals with those even less fortunate. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Nyasha met Kofi, a kind-hearted and spirited young man who had recently returned to the village after studying in the city. Their first meeting was serendipitous. Nyasha was carrying water from the river when she slipped on the wet rocks. Kofi, passing by, rushed to help her, steadying her before she fell. Their eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to pause. Nyasha felt something she had never felt before, a warmth, a connection so deep it scared her. Kofi, too, was captivated by her gentle soul and radiant beauty. As days turned into weeks, Kofi found reasons to visit Mama Zola's hut. He would bring fruits, books, and sometimes just stories from the city to share with Nyasha. They would sit under the ancient baobab tree, talking for hours about their dreams, fears, and the pain of loss. Nyasha shared her deepest scars, the memory of her parents' death during a village fire, and the loneliness that haunted her since. Kofi, in turn, shared his struggles of feeling disconnected from his roots while in the city, and his yearning to build a life in the village. They found solace in each other, and soon, their friendship blossomed into love. But their love was not without challenges. The village, steeped in tradition, whispered about their union. A simple orphan girl with a man as educated and ambitious as Kofi? The elders murmured. Some even warned Kofi that Nyasha's past might bring bad luck. Despite the opposition, Kofi's love for Nyasha only deepened. He vowed to marry her, promising to protect her from the harsh world that had hurt her so much. But fate had its own cruel plans. One cold, rainy night, Nyasha fell gravely ill. The village healer tried every herb and remedy, but her condition worsened. Kofi stayed by her side, holding her hand as her once bright eyes dimmed with pain. "Don't leave me, Nyasha," he whispered, his voice breaking. Nyasha, with tears streaming down her face, smiled weakly. "Kofi," she said, her voice barely audible, "you gave me something I never thought I'd have, love. Even if my time here is short, I am at peace because of you." Kofi's heart shattered. He begged the heavens to spare her, but the skies remained silent. As dawn broke, Nyasha's breathing grew faint. She looked at Kofi one last time and whispered, "Promise me, Kofi, you'll live a life full of love and kindness. Carry my memory, not with sorrow, but with joy for the moments we shared." And with those final words, Nyasha closed her eyes. But just as Kofi thought he had lost her forever, a sudden gust of wind swept through the hut, carrying the faint sound of Nyasha's voice. "I'll always be with you, Kofi," it seemed to say, as though her spirit lingered to comfort him. Heartbroken yet determined, Kofi took Nyasha's final wish to heart. He transformed the garden around the baobab tree into a sanctuary of love and hope. The flowers he planted grew into vibrant symbols of Nyasha's spirit, drawing visitors from far and wide who came to hear the tale of the orphan girl whose love changed a man forever. Years later, Kofi became a beacon of wisdom and kindness in the village. He would sit under the baobab tree, surrounded by children, telling them stories of Nyasha's courage and grace. And though his heart ached for her every day, he found peace in knowing their love was eternal, woven into the very fabric of the village they had both called home. Nyasha's story became more than a legend. It became a lesson that love, no matter how fleeting, can leave a mark that lasts forever. And as the village prospered, the whispers of her spirit in the wind reminded everyone of the girl who had lived and loved with a heart as vast as the African skies.